Hello and welcome to some more Star Citizen. I haven't got FOIP turned on. Oh, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. We're here to look at other things. We're going to look at sort of survival mechanics, the light survival mechanics, talk a little bit about food, temperatures, the armors, and have a quick tour of the moons of microTech, the new moons. So I'm actually up in Port Tressler. I'm not on microTech at the moment. I'm next to microTech at Port Tressler. That is the station that is effectively orbiting it. And you can't buy the thermal armors, which you need to survive the very harsh conditions, at microTech at the moment. Something I suspect they will add at some point. But the Novikov armor, which is the best thermal armor at the moment, or at least some good thermal armor we can grab and buy at the moment, is up in Port Tressler. Just buy it. So that's where you have to come and get it. Now, you'll notice if you hold F and press right click, you'll actually see your stats for hydration, for consumptions of foods, so your sort of like hunger level, and also you've got your beats per minute for your heart. So the higher that is, the more stamina you're using, and then you've got the sort of like environmental temperature, which is affected by you putting your suit on and being in a vehicle, even if it's not a fully enclosed vehicle, and that sort of stuff. And then you have your body temperature. Obviously, the body temperature is probably the most important thing that you don't want to go down. Obviously, hydration and hunger is actually pretty slow to drain. So it's not minutes before you have to eat and drink, it's hours and hours. So you don't have to constantly eat and drink, unless you're going for a marathon on a very hot sort of like planet like or moon like Daymar. If you're going for a run on Daymar and you've got like a debuff that gives you dehydrating, then you're going to need to drink a reasonable amount. And we'll talk more about that in a second, because you can find a lot of this stuff just out in the environments to pick up and eat as well now. But we're going to grab the Novikov suit and get it from the terminal. So click on buy, and you'll notice that it tells you its temperature rating. So minus 225 all the way up to 75C. So it's actually got a pretty big range to protect you in cold environments and some warm environments. Although in very hot environments, not appropriate. It's also heavy armor, great, and it's got a big carrying capacity. Awesome. Absolutely fantastic piece of kit. You can also, the lower suit is a single piece, but the helmet is separate. So it's 10,300 at the moment, and 30 for the main body armor and arms and legs. But also it's 5,050 for the hat. And again, it's rated to the same level, and it's heavy armor. I hope they either have it as its own class of armor, so one-piece armors. I suppose Undersuit does sort of cater for that, maybe, or they break it up so you can have it individually. We'll have to wait and see exactly what CIG do with that. I know they were sort of like looking at potentially breaking backpacks off from armor and having them as a separate item. But don't know why they don't sell them on microTech, but let us actually switch into our heavy armor so you can see it in its glory on me. It actually looks alright with the standard helmet, but we will put on the true helmet. We'll save that. Very big armor, very big helmet. Good thermal protection though. Nice bright light. Whoop. Actually quite like the armor. I think it looks very slick. Let's have a quick look around the moons nearby. And maybe we'll grab out the Prowler. I feel like I look even more like a Star Trek Romulan now. No, so, one other thing I wanted to say. This, like, thermal clothing just isn't as effective as an undersuit. So, some of the clothing might be useful for certain circumstances in the future, but at the moment, you'd wear a flight suit or an undersuit because they're significantly better thermal rated. But I suspect civilians will be walking around, and the ones that are outside will be wearing appropriate thermal gear, and some of them won't have undersuits. They'll have, clothing on and this sort of attire. And in the future, maybe players will be incentivized to wear clothing rather than undersuits or rather than armor all the time. So it'll be interesting to see what they do with that. So we have food courts all over the verse now. So I'm on Port Tressler. I'm in one of the food courts here. You'll see food courts at landing zones. Lots of different types of food. So if you hold F and right click, you'll be able to see your hydration and your nutrition values. Bam! Nice and simple. I suspect this information will be conveyed in a much better way in the future. They'll sort of like updating these UIs at the moment, making them better and more sensible for our needs. And we can also see external temperature, or environmental temperature, I should say, and my body temperature. All of these are obviously important. Now, we need to eat and drink in-game. Now, we can find food on planets, just and out and about. We can grab food, hom nom nom, eat that. We can store it in our personal inventory and grab it out and eat it there as well. Hom nom 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 nom. That's the idea. When we're at landing zones, when we're buying stuff from food courts, unfortunately at the moment we can't store food in our personal inventories that is bought straight from here for some reason. We can look at a food type. You can just quick buy it to have it in your hands, or you can read some more information about it, and then it will tell you that it's got a hydration rating of 16. The higher the hydration and nutrition value, the better. And then it also has some buffs or debuffs. So, for example, energizing, that will mean that you regenerate stamina faster. Bam! That's really good. If it's dehydrating, you need to drink more often. You're basically going to be losing hydration. If it's hydrating, you're going to be gaining. You're not going to need to drink so often. You're going to lose your hydration slower, as it were. And there's the toxic and stuff like that as well. So toxic will basically deal damage to you. There's lots of things like that at the moment. But none of them are too maddening. Some will give you different sort of like visual effects. If you're hungry or thirsty, you'll sort of like get a haze around your screen. You won't be able to see so well. You might not move as fast. You might have stamina problems. But we can grab a can of this delicious fizz. Grab it. And we have it on our hands. And we will drink it. Oh! Oh no, we can't drink it. Why is that? Because I need to remove my helmet. It's your silly face. So hold F and right click. And we can go to... Well, I've got it in my favourites already. But we can go to actions. Item actions. And then unequip helmet. And now we've unequipped our helmet. We can drink. Glug glug. And I do look like a Star Trek Romulan. I didn't choose this hair. It chose me. And how many times can I just drink it some more? Mate, there's loads in here. Glug glug. We can see a little gauge how much glug glug's left in it. Now, I want to drink more. Drink more, mate. Bam. Empty now. I just discard it. Oh, wow. So, I want to see fines for littering. That's what I want to see. If someone spots you littering, you get a fine. That was chucked out of my inventory immediately. But there's lots of other types of edibles. Can I eat anything here? No, I don't want a book. Can I eat the book? Okay, I'm sure it's supposed to be jumped off. Jump off the railings here. So what else food we got? We got some pizza. Grab some delicious pizzas. Or not. Coffee, can we have coffee? No, we can have the drinks here. Which will, I suspect, give us hydrating. Energizing, hydrating. It's got a nutrition rating as well. So some stuff will give hydration and nutrition. Noodle bar. Grab some noodles. No? Is it just... So only some of the food in the game is actually accessible at the moment. There's a juice bar. Elroy's will have some fruit, won't it? Oh, I want a citrus beef burrito. See if one of those bad boys. Dehydrating. But it's got a nice nutrition rating. Oh, I see they were up there. That makes more sense. Okay. So this looks like a proper burrito. I wouldn't see a burrito as dehydrating necessarily. I suppose when it comes out, it might be. We can nom nom this. Oh, down in one. Apparently. Delicious. But you can see there's lots of different types of food. We've got hot dogs. Easily grab a hot dog. Load of put. Have a read about the hot dogs. Delicious. Oh. Eat one of these bad boys. And I won't have to eat so often. Mmm. Mmm. Delicious. But lots of drinks have been done. Lots of different types of food. There's a load of different food places all over microTech. Especially in the commons area. But expect more and more and more food types. But yeah, you can find and collect food around plants and chuck it in your inventory as well. And eventually, hopefully, in 3.9's branch, we'll be able to take the food that we buy in service stations here and chuck it directly into our sort of personal inventory as well, rather than just general harvestables being put in your inventory and also edible. I love the Prowler. I love the way it looks. I think it's a beautiful ship. But we are getting on our Prowler at Port Tressler. Just zoom off.
Thank you, and please visit again.
Port Tressler looks absolutely fantastic. Really looking forward to the new cargo decks they're bringing into the game, and the refineries, more additions to the modular spaceships. Space stations. Someone's getting shot by that. They are not having a great day. But we've got microTech just below us. So at the moment, if you can't find something that you want on microTech and you've spawned there at New Babbage, then have a look at Port Tressler first, is my my suggestion. So we're going to fly to Calliope first, the first moon of microTech. It's got no ocean. It's pretty basic as a moon. It has got a very, very, very dense, foggy atmosphere, though. So sort of bear that in mind. It's an interesting use of the new planetary V4 tech. You can see actually some of that planetary V4 tech here. Very, very highly detailed sort of terrain pieces that seamlessly transition as you get closer, and they've made that even more and more detailed now. But yes, let's zoom off. So this is Calliope, and it hasn't got an ocean, this moon. So this is sort of like one of the defining features of it as a microTech moon when they were building it. It is very, very foggy. So when we get closer to the surface, you will not be able to see much at all. But it's pretty basic, sort of like tundra biome, a mixture of frost and sort of like Rocky Mountain. Is sort of like the focus there. Let us get close to the moon. Let's see if we can get... there's a Cuban facility nearby. Cuban facility there? No. On the other side of the moon. Let's go to this Cuban processing facility. So the moons are set up for missions, and they've got locations, points of interest, trading areas on them. Same as microTech now as well, which is cool. Just get it closer in to Calliope. You can see the fog, and even the sort of like chromatic aberration, sort of like more rainbow-esque little effects there. If you can see, they're quite subtle. I'm just going to come in and land, or at least get very close to the surface. You can see all of this. But the actual Planetary Tech V4 stuff, very, very cool. Still haven't got the popping in of smaller object scattering assets solved yet. You'll notice like little rocks and trees. Well, not trees on these moons, but in more general. It'd be very hard to tell how close I am to the ground, as it is so foggy. See microTech in the background there, though. We've gone through the fog layer there. You can see it's very mountainous, but you can't really see much, and it's very cold. It's basically in a constant blizzard, the way I see it. Nice. Didn't break any of my tail fins. Tail fins very vulnerable to breaking. Get out and have a quick look around. We are in the appropriate armor. Jump out of the little air door. See that I've got... my vision is partially obscured because of the melting snow. It's very hard to see anything around here. But it does look, as you'd expect, a very frosty area to look. You can see my hydration's actually gone down from the last time we looked. And if I hold F and right click, you can see that my hydration is down. And we can also see that the external temperatures, or the environmental temperatures, are minus 147. Now, what will also show is if I don't have enough thermal protection, it will show a timer of how long I've got left estimated to survive. So you can see the clipping of the large armor here. So let us put on just my undersuit. And maybe a helmet as well. So this is only rated to minus 30. So when this is equipped, you'll see that it's warning me that the external temperature is very, very cold. And it's showing my estimated survival time at the moment at 11 minutes. Though I would expect it would revise that to be a bit lower in a minute. Maybe not. Maybe I'm wrong. I think 11 minutes 30. Oh, no, it's rapidly decreasing, going up and down. You'll also notice that my character is sort of like occasionally protecting their face. Maybe? Are we doing that? See that the frost's obviously affected the armor. The frosty. So like my character occasionally moves in an odd way. Sometimes he might protect his face. He might not. He's just sort of doing the little hunch thing. I think 10, 11 minutes is pretty good. Or the more energetic you are, the more sort of like environments that you go through, the more sort of like food and drink that you will require. Sort of like bear that in mind. Alright, we're going to jump back on board. We will change back to our Novikov armor. Well, undersuit actually. And we'll put on the appropriate helmet too. Bam. And hopefully, we should see the temperatures stabilize. Parked quite badly there, but it's fine. Don't worry about that. At some point in the future, we'll probably be restricted to what seats we can and stations we can sit in and use, based on the armor we wear. So bear that in mind as well. You probably won't be able to use Novikov armor and pilot a small fighter, for example. We're going to take off.
Complete.
And let's get the hell out of Dodge. We're traveling to Clio now. Now, one of the joys of Clio is that it has a liquid ocean. But, I mean, these moons, they look pretty cool. You can see it's loaded up its level of detail there. Got a more sort of like greenish hue. It's got a fog layer, but once you get under it, it's not terribly foggy compared to Euterpe, for example. It's partly translucent. That's weird. I sort of like see the... Ah, it was just a bug. Okay. So I've noticed that some of the textures aren't working properly. So we'll see if this is actually an ocean we're traveling to once we get through the fog layer, because it might just go, nope, it's solid ground again. Oh, maybe this is actually ocean this time. I was having a little play around potentially in some other patches, and it was doing weird things. We've got the quite good cross-section of the terrain there. We've got the sort of tundra-esque areas, the very snowy bits, the more rocky, shaly bits. We're coming up on effectively the ocean and the beach as well. You would not want to swim in this ocean. It is very sort of like murky. Murky's the correct word. Oh, nope. You wouldn't want to swim in this ocean because the planet has now decided that it's not an ocean at all. So, as one of the problems I've had is that occasionally the water entirely disappears. Okay. That's fine. I didn't want water anyway. But you'll just have to trust me that this moon has water. We'll have a look at it properly at a later date. So in the PT, obviously, stuff is not entirely 100% working. But there's a huge ocean across this moon, which sometimes works, and sometimes does not. What happens if I land here? Does it count as a kill box for ocean? It counts as... It knows the ocean's there! I'll tell you that much. And finally, we're moving to Euterpe. And goodbye to Clio. Now, it's weird that the planets draw with those sort of weird textures at very long range sometimes. In a minute, it will snap into the appropriate... There we go. Into the appropriate LODs. So, Euterpe is the final moon here. Frozen ocean. But, what does that really mean? Well, this is the moon I'm actually relatively disappointed with. Now, very similar sort of like tundra, mountainous areas, snow, that sort of stuff. But also, a large portion of it is supposed to be sort of like these like frozen oceans. Now, when you get closer to this sort of like ocean area, you can see this sort of like looks like badly rendered water. The textures for that are incredibly repetitive at the moment. So obviously, it will change in the future. Don't get me wrong. It's just at the moment, it's like, could look better. From this sort of angle and everything, it looks pretty cool. I mean, it's very beautiful. I mean, it looks fantastic, but it looks cool for Star Citizen. It could look better. But we'll get closer and I'll show you what I mean. So let me press B, press F4. We want to go to somewhere around this side of the moon if possible. Obviously obstructed. We'll just fly close in. We'll do it live. We'll do it manual and live. No. The engines are cool. You can deal with it. We're getting pretty close to the surface now. You can see some popping in occasionally of assets, but typically it's pretty good for the proc-gen procedural planets type stuff. Getting the assets looking good. Now, see this? This is a frozen ocean. And what you'll see as well, I'm going to wobble my mouse. You can see that the texture looks like it's moving weirdly when I move my mouse. And that's because it is. It's just a bit of a weird effect. I know I've got like entirely snowblind from looking here as well. Like it looks so weird. And we'll get closer and we'll land on it. And you'll see that the texture is so repetitive. It looks alright from this height. It looks a bit weird when I wiggle my mouse. Get a bit closer. We'll get a bit closer. It looks like ground fog, but it's not. It's just the texture has become incredibly repetitive. Like, it's in a grid. Literally squares. So it just looks a bit weird, and my brain doesn't like it. I hate it's like uncanny valley for textures for me. So a little bit disappointed with this moon because that frozen ocean is not ideal. But I mean, it could well be fixed in the PTU. To be honest, they could do something. They go, oh yeah, it's not using the right textures, that sort of stuff. But yeah, it was a bit weird. That was all. But again, it's pretty similar. This planet has less fog, I suppose. Everything has less fog than like Calliope anyway. Oh, my ship's doing a little dance. Doesn't like the ocean floor. See, my hydration has dipped to 81% now, though. We've come to Daymar, and we are in our cold protection armor. And we can see there that we've got an estimated survival time of 50 minutes or so. Our character doesn't look like they're doing too badly. Don't ask why I've got a cutlass red there rather than the prowler. That's fine. Don't worry about it. But if we look at hold F and right click, we'll see that the temperature is 87 degrees here on Daymar, which is hotter than the thermal allowance that our armor has. So it is not appropriate protection for Daymar. But I quite like that, but it's not like hugely over. The heat is going to take a while to get us. So yeah, it's not as dangerous as the cold sort of like here. And I'm not going to be on Daymar for an hour, so it's not awful. And I like the idea of that in the future you'll have planets like, or moons like Daymar, or planets whatever, that are really, really, really hot during the day, but really cold at night. So the sort of changing temperatures and the weather affecting those temperatures a lot more is something that I'd like to see. So like proper, predictable storms and information about these sort of like planets and moons. But Daymar, not too dangerous. Let's see what happens if I take off this suit, though. I don't mean like take it off so I suffocate. I mean switch into my Odyssey armor and undersuit. And that should... Okay, halved my survival time because the thermal rating for this armor is just not as good for heat or cold. But it's not as good for either. So there's two basically types of undersuit at the moment. Ones that give you minus 30 to 60, and others that give you minus 40 to 70. And the standard Odyssey suit gives you minus 40 to 70, which is good. I'd like to see a nice range of that in the future, though. But yeah, be careful of sort of like planets that you go to and the moons that you go to, and make sure you check the external temperatures or the environmental temperatures, what's going on. Hold F, right click, and you get all that information shown there in a good amount of detail. This will be improving from patch to patch, the way this information is disseminated to you from your helmet HUD to your Mobi-Glass. I would expect to see a much better vitals rundown on one of the pieces on the Mobi-Glass in the future. Looking forward to that, looking forward to those UI updates. But if you've got any questions about food, drink, survival mechanics, the heat, please chuck them in the comments below. You can find harvestables across lots and lots and lots of different planets in game now, and nom on them straight away for different effects. So try eating everything like an orc to start with. I mean, what's the point of not doing that? It doesn't matter if you die at the moment, or you fall over, or you get toxic. But you don't need to eat and drink so much either. Like it's not every few minutes. It is it takes a while before you need to actually eat and drink. Well, drinking can be a bit more regular, based on if you're using a load of your if you're running around all the time, that sort of thing. I like these sort of like alien egg type cactuses. Look like hungry mouths. Cutlass red is best for testing. Bam! Just set it as my ICU. And then if I die or anything goes wrong, I just spawn there. Perfect. For April, we are giving away a Cutlass Black and Star Citizen game package. Just comment on any of my videos made during this month of April to be in for a chance of winning that. I am a shill for a couple of companies, NordVPN and NordPass. If you are looking for a VPN or a password management system, I recommend you check them out. They've got many benefits over free services, and as I'm pretty security conscious, I love those kind of services. Also, there's Shadow if you are thinking about getting a new gaming rig or upgrading your gaming PC for Star Citizen or whatever, then consider Shadow instead. It is a internet cloud-based subscription service like Stadia, like GeForce Now, but this one gives you access to a full Windows 10 environment which is fully customizable, and that is significantly better in my opinion, allowing you to do a lot more with it. Check out the links below for them or use the code BoredGamer for discount. Also, if you wish to support the channel further, there is Patreon, there's the YouTube join member button down below. That really helps. This is a community supported channel and I wouldn't be able to do what I do without the support that I get. If you want to share these videos, if you want to comment, give feedback, whatever, that is also hugely appreciated. Thanks very much for watching, guys. You take care and I'll see you in the verse.